Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Irish Tennis Updates podcast. My name's Adam and I'm your host. Today I'm chatting to Julie Byrne. Julie is currently in her final year of a tennis scholarship in the States. We talk about how coronavirus has affected her tennis season. We also talk about how she got to this point on her tennis journey and her plans after college. Also, she attempts my first ever tennis quiz. Before we get into it, I hope you're all keeping well during these difficult times and managing to get some exercise in and stay a bit active as well as safe. So let's get into it. So Julie, if you could be one animal, what animal would it be and why?
I think I'd like to be a dog.
Okay.
Especially during this quarantine, I feel like dogs are getting a lot of attention, more attention than they're used to, and also a lot of walks. So
Yeah.
I think definitely during this time, I'd like to be a dog.
It's a good time to be a dog.
Exactly.
So I guess we'll start off just a bit talking about the current situation about coronavirus, how that's affecting you, and then we'll go on to kind of other tennis things. So
Yep.
I know you're in college in the States. So how has so you're home in Ireland at the moment. So how has the last couple of weeks been?
To be honest, I've been a bit of a whirlwind. We were getting started into our season. Conference was just starting. I was the only senior on my team, so I was pretty motivated, like personal goals for NCAAs, and kind of leading our team we were striving to win another Big Ten championship. And then we were actually supposed to go to Orlando. I think it was Thursday. It was a Thursday 4 weeks ago. And that afternoon we found out that NCAA was cancelling all seasons. And basically our tennis season was just ended just like that over an email. Okay. So at that time I was like, oh no, tennis is over for me. College tennis is over for me. That's it. It was really heartbreaking, and especially to find that out over email. It was just like, it had kind of just been ripped apart really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And I know we only had like 3 months left, but it was kind of like, that's the prime time. Like we'd done all the fall individual, and you're really in the midst of like season and the most fun and intense time. So it was really heartbreaking. And then that afternoon, actually, the NCAA came out with a statement kind of saying, we're looking to give another year of eligibility for spring sports, because that's what tennis is. We do compete during the year, but our main season is spring. So they kind of gave that, which gave me like, okay, a bit of hope. Like maybe I will be able to get another year and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then so I went home thinking, okay, I'll probably be back, probably get another year, which will be great. And then a few days before the NCAA had the meeting, I was kind of told, okay, Julie, you might need to bring your hopes down a little bit. It's not looking too good now, because, as like Corona kind of unfolded, like it kind of became real, like, oh wow, this is a big financial loss. Everyone's losing. So it looked like maybe they wouldn't be able to give another year of eligibility to us. And then on Monday night, Tuesday morning, I found out that they actually were. So yeah, it was really up and down. I was I'm done with tennis. I'm not done with tennis. I didn't know what to do. My graduation obviously is going to be online now, so it was just like everything was just all over the place.
Yeah.
But now they come out with saying, we will give you guys another eligibility and another year of eligibility, and luckily, it's looking like Northwestern are going to provide me with that. So I'll be back for a 5th year.
Okay, great. Yeah, I guess it's in doubt even if you'll get back, for the start of the next year.
Definitely. We don't know.
I wouldn't even be sure of that.
Yeah.
So how has your life been then since you've been back in Ireland? Well, apart from that.
It's been pretty boring, to be honest. I'm trying to stay fit, because I just think that doing fitness and doing a bit of tennis kind of keeps routine and keeps me sane. So we were sent over some fitness things to do. So I've actually picked up running a little bit. So I hate running, but I'm trying to just do something consistent every day. And then there's a wall opposite my house, so I've been sneaking over there to my old primary school and just hitting against the wall. It's nice. nice mentally. So
Yeah, have the feeling of at least hitting the tennis ball, I guess.
yeah, just ticking away a little bit. You know, I'm
Yeah,
not going to make any huge improvements right now,
yeah,
but
yeah.
just trying to keep it together. So when I do come back, it's not like, oh God, you know.
Yeah, no, the weird thing obviously about this is it is the same for pretty much everyone. It's not like, a normal maybe injury layoff. It's literally everybody is out.
Hmm.
So it's going to be so weird when it does go back, isn't it? To
Yeah,
see what it's going to be like.
yeah. I think like, I mean, I'm sure everyone's kind of chipping away and like
Yeah,
doing a little bit, but in general, just the fact that everyone like, and not just tennis, obviously, like
yeah,
all athletes are just completely sidelined and it's completely
yeah,
out of their control. It's just kind of something I guess you have to accept and just go with it because everyone's in the same boat. And some people obviously have a little bit of more advantage with like facilities and home
yeah,
gyms and
yeah.
stuff, but in general, it's the competition is gone. So that's kind of the main thing.
Yeah, we just have to see what happens now and hope it, as soon as possible we can get back to some normality, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to go back to to tennis more in general. Your kind of journey with tennis. So going back to the start, how did you get into tennis, and why did you choose tennis over other sports as you kind of got older?
I first got into tennis. I was playing loads of different sports. I was playing Gaelic. Think about a bit of soccer at some point.
Yeah,
And then I did swimming, and then I think I just signed up to one of those like camps. I don't know, it might have been Kit Kat camps or something like that.
the park tennis, something like that.
Parks tennis, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
along
yeah,
those lines.
yeah.
In Monkstown,
Okay.
and I think I quite enjoyed it, and I liked the people who I was with. And I think Stephen O'Shea, he's the coach. He was the coach there, and he still is the coach there.
Mm.
He was my coach growing up. He, I think he was kind of okay. Like he told my mum, "Oh, she's pretty good. Like maybe she should stick with it." So I kind of I started there, and then I progressed into Leinster, and then I went to Tennis Ireland, and this was all I kept Gaelic football up at the same time.
Okay.
So I was doing Gaelic in Kilmacud Crokes and then tennis. And I think it was when I was like 13, I was in Tennis Ireland, and I was like, okay, I got to make the decision.
Yeah.
Do I keep the team sport up, or do I or do I kind of just buy into tennis? And yeah, something about tennis had me hooked, and I stopped Gaelic and I just went full tennis full time
Yeah.
from first year to fifth year, really. Yeah.
So at that stage, how much training were you doing, and where?
So I think when I was in first year to third year, I was full time in DCU. So that's
Right.
I think it was 4 till 7 every day.
Okay.
So I finished school and I bust out to DCU with some I think it was the Drummies and the Dudleys as well, and we'd all drive out there, go out from 4 till 7, and then one of our parents would drive us back. So yeah, that was a really like intense time
Yeah.
it's just because it was so far away as well, and we were in secondary school, so yeah, we were full time there.
Yeah.
And then at the end of third year, I was like, okay, well, because by fourth year you can kind of be flexible with your schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, I'd like to go full time. And I'd been working a little bit with the Leinster squad in third year, and that's when I met Stephen Nugent. And I basically asked him like, any chance you'd be my coach for fourth year and like go full time. And we figured it out, and we actually we had a really good setup going. We were full time, and this is when I then moved. I was no longer in DCO. I went to Westwood Clontarf, and they let us use the facilities, the gym. I was also a fitness coach, so I was full time with him every morning, like 4 hours a day. I'd do fitness for an hour before, I'd go with him 3 hours, fitness after. And I just get the dart in and out every day, and that was probably the year that I improved the most.
Yeah.
Because it was like not much, like academically it wasn't as intense,
Yeah.
and I was basically training like as close to a pro I've ever been.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, that year I improved loads. And at that time I was like, I think I want to go professional and stuff like that. But yeah, I think I wasn't really ranked. I was maybe in the thousands, and then within like 6 months, I got it down. I got my ranking down to 350 or something like that. So that was good for me to kind of get results, because I always practiced really hard and trained really hard, and I found it hard to get results. So that was the year I finally kind of had a breakthrough myself.
Yeah.
And started to get a real taste of like competition and competing really hard. So yeah.
So at that stage, were you traveling around Europe, playing events, or even further?
Yeah, I was traveling a lot. A lot of the ITFs I think I went to Norway, Sweden, England.
Yeah.
We went to Hungary for a grade 2, I remember. Malta, and then I think I won an ITF in Latvia. That was a week. Yeah, I traveled on my own that week. So yeah, I was doing a lot of traveling.
Yeah. So then I guess when you were coming to teen, you were finishing up in secondary school, you were looking at your options and you went with college. And why did you make that decision? How easy was that decision for you?
I think when I got to 5th and 6th year, college tennis was like it was like becoming a really high level. And it was because I think initially growing up, it was kind of like, you go to college tennis, you're never going to go pro. And then it kind of started to change. I remember seeing how well Sinead Lowen was doing, and like she was making finals of NCAAs and doing really well her sophomore year. And that was when I was kind of really looking to go. So I was like, oh, maybe like this is actually a very good setup for me, because I knew that when I was in a structure that's like a lot of training, I improved loads. It's a lot of competing as well when you're in college tennis. And I was kind of going off 4th year and thinking, okay, if I can have that same sort of setup with academics as well, I can really improve, because I still had so much improvement to kind of go. So then I started talking to the coaches, and Dave Mullins. I don't know. Do you know Dave Mullins?
I'd know of Dave. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was the coach in Oklahoma at the time, and obviously he's Irish.
Yeah.
Great guy, really good friends. He was good friends with Stephen at the time. So I kind of started talking to him, and he was saying how it's unbelievable for training, unbelievable for competing, and you also get a degree at the same time. So
yeah.
I was thinking, actually, maybe this is a great option. And then I actually committed to Oklahoma where he was, but he then left to go home for personal reasons. So it was kind of like a bit of a tough time, because I had a new coach and I bought in and stuff, but we didn't really gel that well. So my freshman year was a little hard, just like culturally and stuff as well, because Oklahoma is obviously in the south. It's very different to Dublin, you could say. So I called him back and I was asking him, what should I do and stuff like that. And luckily he had a connection to Northwestern. He actually was the assistant for my coach for a number of years before that. So he kind of called my coach Claire and said, any chance there's a space? And there actually was, by pure luck. So that's how I kind of then moved into Northwestern, and that's where the real improvement started.
And that's where you've been ever since?
Yeah, that's where I've been since sophomore year.
So what are you studying, and what year are you in? I guess it's a bit grey now, but so you're in final year. You were in final year, and I guess you're going to do final year again, or is it going to be moving?
So currently now I'm still a senior. I'm doing my classes actually start up today for my last quarter. And I'm studying my majors communications and my minors an IMC certificate, which is marketing. So it means that next year I'll graduate this year, and then next year I'll be actually doing a master's. So that's what I'm kind of in the middle of now. I'm applying to masters. It has to be full time because I'm an international student. So applying to that so that I can play on the team next year.
Balance being between studies and tennis over the last couple of years, and do you think that's going to be different next year with the masters, or will you be able to do it similarly?
I think that the level obviously will be harder. Just doing a master's, it's a higher standard. But honestly, you get used to the demand of the schedule academically and with tennis. So that doesn't really scare me that much. It's just time management and understanding what you can and can't do with your schedule. But it doesn't really scare me that much, because I think I'd say junior year was most busy for me, and maybe senior fall, and just with academics and stuff, and you kind of get a feel of what you can do and what you can't do. So it's definitely intense and demanding,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of used to just understanding what to prioritize and
What's your best tennis related memory from college?
Oh, I think there's two. There's the personal one and then there's the team one.
Okay.
The personal one was my sophomore year, so I mean, I kind of felt like I was a freshman because there was a new team and new teammates,
Yeah.
and we had a really, really good senior class that year. The three of them nearly won every match, so all we needed was another win when
Okay.
we'd go out on game day.
Helps.
Yeah, so we were playing Georgia Tech, I think, and they were maybe six in the country at the time,
Right.
and I was number six at the time, and I think one of the seniors, the number one player, was still on court, and she was in a really tight third set against another really good player. So it was kind of like we didn't know, was she going to win, was she not going to win, just
Yeah.
because the level was so high, and it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
And I was 5-2 up in the third to clinch, so to clinch the win and to get us.
Yeah.
I mean, beating them would make us top five in the country. And yeah, I clinched against the girl. I was like 5-2 up. I got super nervous. I lost the game like 40-love up with two double faults, like something I'd never felt those nerves before, because I think it's because you're playing for yourself, but you're also playing for your team, which matters the most.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I felt like my whole body went like jelly. I felt like I literally couldn't control my body. But I somehow broke at 5-4 and won the match, and then the team runs over, and it was a really nice personal moment for me and a team moment. And then another really good memory is when we won the Big Ten championship that sophomore year as well. That year was probably one of the best years at Northwestern. So yeah, we won the Big Ten. We were undefeated, and we came out. We had some really good wins that year. So just having the Big Ten title and having the ring and all that. So yeah, that was another great memory.
Yeah, so some things you'll never forget going forwards. What is the most important lesson you've learned? Would you say?
Most important lesson, honestly, I think one thing that's been like make or break with teams is like the camaraderie and the bond you build with your teammates. Because if you have this great bond for each other, you'll do anything for each other. Like, you'll work hard, you'll go the extra length, you'll fight that little bit harder in the hard matches. So I think, like, I know tennis is a very individual sport, but the care that you have for your team, like, can really pull you through matches that you've no business winning. So just knowing how important that is, especially as like I was the only senior this year, and just trying to kind of get that team camaraderie to try and get some wins. Because you just fight harder for each other at the end of the day. So just understanding how important that actually is, and how it can be make or break, basically.
Yeah. So at this point, what are your plans for after college?
I've kind of always said, so I want to, like, a personal goal is play NCAA singles and doubles, like make the individual tournament.
Okay.
And then I said that I'd always kind of see how I'm playing after that, and if the drive is still there, then kind of give playing a go, basically. I don't want to say I'm definitely going to go pro after college, because I do suffer a little bit with injuries, and there is the element of just being burnt out. It's really demanding, especially this will be my fifth year. It's really demanding, just everything that's asked of you. So if the drive is still there, which it is now, I could have the option right now to say I don't want to take my fifth year and be done, but I'm still really into it. I'm really into competing, training, everything. So this time next year, I hope that I still, I'm just as into it, and then I will give it a go, because I love competing. In the few tournaments I've played, I've actually done pretty well for myself. So I know I kind of have part of it in me, either on the doubles court or the singles court. I don't know, but yeah, it's kind of playing it by ear, but working so that I am good enough if I decide to go pro.
Yeah. So if you were to give someone in Ireland advice that's a good junior, would you advise college as a pretty good option?
Yeah, 100%. I think one of the big reasons also is just like financially, like you don't have to pay to train. You know, when you come back here, you have to pay for everything. You have to pay for stringing, you have to pay for accommodation, for example, or you have to pay your coaches. So by going to college, that eliminates all of that. It's basically free. You get an education as well, and I mean, you can improve so much in college. I started freshman year playing number 6 and number 3 doubles, and now as a senior, I'm playing number 1 in singles and doubles. So like, you've got so many hours in the day to improve as if you were playing pro. So yeah, and then you also kind of find out, I think, in college, if you are good enough to go pro. You know, you're competing all the time. If you're at the top level of college, then you're like, okay, yeah, maybe I do have a chance. And if you're kind of struggling a little bit, you've got 4 years to kind of figure it out. And by the end of that, if you don't, then maybe it isn't for you. But it definitely has all the like the setup for you to improve. So I think it's a really, really good option, and you get a great degree out of it as well.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. You know, even if tennis doesn't work out for you, you still have that to full. You know, you have something completely un-tennis related to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's the best place you've ever watched tennis?
Ooh, I think I went to Australia. That was pretty cool.
Okay.
I went with my team sophomore year as well. We did a team trip to Australia, and we got to go to Brisbane Open and see all the pros train. And then also I think we saw, who did we see? Might have been Wozniacki. I can't remember who it was. But yeah, that was amazing. I mean, that trip itself was something else. It was a training trip basically to Australia with all my closest friends, and we got to play. We got to see amazing views. So yeah, I remember sitting up. It was so hot, and after a day of activities, we went and watched some professional tennis players. So that was a pretty good spot to watch some tennis.
Yeah, it sounds good, all right.
Yeah.
What's the best place you ever played tennis then?
I mean, I got to do a trip to Wimbledon, so that was super fun.
Right. Yeah.
We played indoors, which is a little different, but kind of just seeing the club in flesh. And seeing, you see it on TV, you see Federer and Djokovic walking along that kind of walkway before they play, and we got to do all that. So that was pretty special.
Have you been to Wimbledon to watch before?
I haven't. No, I'd love to. I bought my parents tickets a few years back. Nice. And they loved it, so I'd love to go myself and just be a spectator.
Yeah, no, I actually had my flights and my hotel booked for this year. It was my first time, so it'll have to wait.
Brutal. Oh, that's terrible. Did you get the tickets refunded, or how did it work?
Well, I mean, in terms of the actual the tickets for the tennis, I was going to go and queue up and
okay.
But it's on the flights and hotel. I'll have to get sorted out for.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, I know it's. So last summer in August, I was helping out at the Interpros in Monkstown, and you were obviously playing at that. So it was in your home club, obviously. So how was that weekend for you? Like, how would that rank in tennis memories?
That was definitely up there. I think I wrote a little passage about it a few weeks ago for Tennis Ireland, but yeah, that was amazing because I'd been gone for so long. Like, I hadn't been home since Christmas, I remember.
Okay.
And I was coming back, and I made sure to book my flights so I'd make the Interpro team, because it's always such a kind of fun weekend. And when I found out it was in Monkstown, I was like overjoyed. And we had a really strong team.
Yeah.
We had I think we had Simon and Oscar on the team, and then the girls as well was super strong. And I mean, the match against Corolla definitely is kind of was the great moment. It was I think I was a set down and maybe 2-0 down, and then Michael Nugent was the coach at the time, and he was like, "Come on, Jules, you can do it. Just dig out 3 games and the tide will turn." And I just kind of stuck with it, and then suddenly I started playing really well and finding my groove. And I had obviously my whole club of Monkstown behind me, who I've known since that's where I started. So I've known them since I was 5. I had all of them. I had my family, my dad and my sister were there, and then the team itself. And I think we had to beat Ulster to win it, or
if I remember, I think you had to draw maybe, and I think it was a big. I think that match it was a big one. I think for the overall result, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember I went 5-0 up on the third, and then she started swinging, and I had like maybe 4 match points. And to be fair, on all the points she'd hit winners. So I mean, I hadn't lost it just yet, but I was like, oh my god, this is getting a bit scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, winning that match was amazing. I remember coming off court and actually cried for the first time, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, just kind of winning for Leinster and for the team, because we all really bought in to those like 3 days as a team.
Yeah.
And then winning at home, it was just, yeah, that was a really special time, and hopefully, we'll win it again this summer.
What I remember especially from that weekend was, well, obviously it was in Leinster, so Leinster going to have had the home support, but particularly in that match with Corolla, it really felt that they were supporting you, because people knew you as well as just supporting the Leinster player. So that there were both elements in it, and it, I remember it was a really good atmosphere, like for for a small little area, around that court. But I remember it being really tense, and especially towards the end, obviously, as
I know. I remember I could like hear everyone gasp, and like I could hear everything, because I'm a really, like, when I play, like I'm zoned in, but I also can hear everything around me. I'm really aware of what's going on, which is kind of one of my faults, I think. But I knew, and there's so many familiar faces that it was so hard to like focus just on the match. And but yeah, no, I had a lot of support for me, but then if the support's for me, it was for the team as well. So it was a special moment.
Yeah, that must have been must have been really, really special. So what's your favorite thing about tennis in general?
I think the, like, just the competitiveness, how you're always in it. It's kind of a good thing. My coach always says it's a very forgiving sport. You can go 40 love down and you can still have a chance to come back. We're not under time pressure. So no matter kind of what situation you're in, there is always a chance. It sounds kind of cliche, but it's something that I've actually held on to. And in matches I've been this year, I remember I was a set and 4-1 down against a girl, and I was like, okay, I can just get one break here and then another break, and then she starts thinking and everything like that, and I end up winning the match. So I think how it is really never over, and how just the sheer competition of it as well. It's really fun.
All right, so that's really good. So now I think we'll go on to the quiz if you're ready.
I'm ready.
If you're ready. So a couple of questions about the Bryan brothers, who obviously had announced this would be their last year on tour, and now that's I guess a bit of doubt around that if they don't get to play anymore. Couple of questions. So how many doubles Grand Slams have they won together?
I'm gonna say 11.
16 actually. 16.
Oh God, 11.
And have they won the same? A bit of a bonus question. Have they won the same amount as each other?
No.
Didn't
one win with Jack Sock?
Yeah, exactly. So
yes, come on. I don't know which one.
It was Mike played with Sock a couple of. So he actually is 18, Mike. Then Bob has.
Oh wow, he's
16.
Okay.
He got a couple more. So how many doubles titles have they won overall?
Oh.
All titles.
16 Grand Slams, and then they've definitely won about 40 ATP. So 68.
No, you're actually being hard. It's 119.
Oh my goodness! Oh wow, I was so far off.
Yeah, you've done them a disservice there.
Oh god.
So here's one. I don't know. It's a bit of a tricky one, but which one's right-handed? Which one's left? Do you know?
Is Bob left-handed?
Yeah, you got us. Yeah. Perfect. So a couple of Federer questions. What age will Federer turn on the final day of the Olympics next year? So his birthday's on the last day of the Olympics.
Or 40.
Yeah, perfect. 40.
Let's go. Cool.
What year did he win his first Wimbledon title? First Wimbledon singles?
9. No. Did he win in the 90s? No. 02.
03.
Oh, oh God.
Close. So how many kids does he have?
He's got 4 sets of twins, I think. So four, and
Um,
then is there? No, he's got 2 sets of twins.
yeah. And can you name how many of them? Can you
No,
name? No.
no, 0.
His daughters, who are 9, Mila and Charlene. Then his boys, Lenny and Leo.
Okay.
And they're
Yeah.
5.
Okay.
Okay, so how many French Open finals has Simona Halep played?
2.
2. 3.
Oh.
How many she won?
1.
Yeah, she got 1. Yeah, that was 2018. What year did Kerber win her first Grand Slam?
Oh, it was the Australian Open, wasn't it? Or was it Wimbledon? I'm gonna say 16.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, can you remember who she played? It was the Aussie Open. Can you remember who she played?
Open.
Yeah, can you remember who she played in the final?
She played Serena.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This isn't as bad as I thought it would be.
I remember that match against Serena. Because I've never been a big Serena fan, and I remember in that match, because as it got really, because it was like 6-4 in the third or something, so as it got really close, as Kerber was getting closer, I was, I just wanted Kerber to win so much,
Yeah.
But then, just the nerves building up, and then I'm thinking, even when she gets her first match point, like with Serena, you never think it's never over, especially with Serena.
True.
So like all I'm thinking when Kerber gets her first match point is, oh no, now Serena will win having saved the match point. It'll be even worse for her.
Yeah. No faith in Kerber.
No, it's the pessimist in me, but no, okay, you got that one. 2016, that's perfect. So who is? I have 2 more questions. Who's the youngest player in the top 10 for the men?
Cespedes?
Yeah. And what about the women?
Osaka? Cannon?
Andriescu.
She's still in the top 10. Wow.
Yeah, she must be just about.
Yeah.
Because she's been out injured for ages, hasn't she?
Yeah.
All right, so that's that. Let me just see. 1, 2, 3, 7 out of 10, I think. So well done.
Pretty good. 70%.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah, you'll take that. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's it. Just want to thanks. I'll wrap it up there. So thanks very much again for giving up your time.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
I hope obviously you're starting that course today, so I hope that all goes well for you and you can get back
Thanks very much.
to the States as soon as possible, get back to tennis.
Yeah.
I just want to wish you the best for the rest of the degree, your master's.
Thank you very much.
Any tennis related things. So yeah, thanks again.
Cheers.
And there we have it. I really enjoyed this chat with Julie. I hope you found it interesting as well. Many thanks once again to Julie for giving up her time to talk to me. And thank you to you as well for listening. Please do subscribe, leave a review if you enjoyed the episode, and tell a friend as well. Until next time, stay safe. Goodbye.